The economic environment of 2026 is unlike anything we've experienced in modern history, and the purchasing decisions that seemed reasonable or even smart in previous years have become wealth destroyers that will keep you financially trapped if you don't stop making them immediately. I'm going to tell you exactly what to stop buying right now if you want to protect your wealth and position yourself for the opportunities that this challenging economy will create. This isn't about living like a monk or avoiding all spending. This is about understanding which purchases provide real value versus which ones are systematic wealth transfer mechanisms that enrich corporations while impoverishing consumers. The companies selling these products have spent billions of dollars convincing you that these purchases are normal, necessary, or even beneficial. But the mathematical reality tells a completely different story. Most people make purchasing decisions based on emotions, social pressure, or marketing messages without calculating the true cost of these decisions over time. They focus on monthly payments or immediate gratification without understanding how these purchases compound to destroy wealth over decades, keeping them trapped in financial mediocrity while the people who avoid these traps build serious wealth. The inflation and economic uncertainty of 2026 makes these bad purchasing decisions even more dangerous because every dollar wasted on wealth-destroying purchases is a dollar that can't be invested in assets that preserve purchasing power and build wealth during these challenging times. The opportunity cost of poor purchasing decisions has never been higher. If you want to understand how to navigate the current economy without falling into the consumer traps that are designed to keep you poor, if you're ready to make purchasing decisions like wealthy people instead of like consumers, then subscribe to this channel right now, because what I'm going to reveal could save you hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. The first thing you must stop buying immediately is new cars, especially expensive new cars financed with loans or leases. The automotive industry has created one of the most effective wealth destruction mechanisms in consumer finance, convincing people to borrow money for depreciating assets while paying interest rates that make wealth building impossible. Here's the mathematical reality that car dealers don't want you to understand. A new car loses 20 to 30% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. Within the first year, you're down 30 to 40% from what you paid. By year 3, you've lost 50 to 60% of your purchase price. You're not buying transportation, you're buying guaranteed wealth destruction. But the financing makes it even worse. Most people finance cars for 6, 7, or even 8 years at interest rates of 5 to 10%, while the car continues depreciating faster than they're paying down the loan principal. This creates negative equity situations where people owe more on their car loans than their vehicles are worth for most of the loan term. The opportunity cost is devastating. A $500 monthly car payment invested in dividend-paying stocks averaging 8% returns would grow to over $400,000 over 30 years. Instead of building wealth, car buyers are transferring that money to automotive companies and finance companies while owning depreciating assets. Leasing is even worse because you're essentially renting a depreciating asset with no equity building whatsoever. At the end of a lease, you have nothing to show for years of payments except the privilege of having borrowed someone else's car. Leasing benefits dealers and finance companies while providing zero wealth-building value to consumers. The smart alternative is buying reliable used cars that are 3 to 5 years old, preferably with cash to avoid interest payments completely. Let someone else absorb the massive depreciation while you get reliable transportation at a fraction of the cost. Use the money saved on transportation for investments that actually build wealth over time. The second thing to stop buying immediately is anything on credit cards that you can't pay off within 30 days. Credit card debt at 15 to 25% interest rates makes wealth building mathematically impossible, while enriching credit card companies that profit from keeping consumers trapped in high-interest debt cycles. Credit card companies deliberately structure their payment systems to maximize interest income while minimizing principal reduction. Minimum payments are calculated to ensure that most of your payment goes to interest rather than reducing the balance you owe. A $5,000 credit card balance at 20% interest will take over 20 years to pay off with minimum payments while costing over $8,000 in interest charges. The opportunity cost of credit card debt is enormous because money going to interest payments can't be invested in appreciating assets. Every dollar of credit card interest represents a dollar that could have been earning compound returns in your investment portfolio instead of compound profits for credit card companies. But the psychological trap is equally destructive. Credit cards enable consumption decisions based on impulse rather than affordability, leading to lifestyle inflation that prevents wealth building regardless of income levels. People convince themselves they can afford purchases because they can make the monthly payments, ignoring the total cost, including interest and opportunity costs. The only reasonable use of credit cards is for convenience and rewards on purchases you would make anyway and can pay off immediately. If you can't pay cash for something, you can't afford to buy it on credit at 20% interest rates that guarantee financial destruction. The third thing to stop buying is subscription services that you don't use actively and regularly. The subscription economy has exploded because it generates predictable revenue streams for companies, while consumers often forget about services they're paying for or underestimate the total annual costs of multiple subscriptions. Most people have subscription services they've forgotten about or use rarely enough that the cost per use is ridiculously expensive. Gym memberships used twice per month cost $30 per workout. Streaming services watched once per week cost over $1 per hour of entertainment. Software subscriptions used occasionally cost more per use than owning the software outright. The subscription trap works by making individual monthly payments seem small, while the annual totals become substantial wealth drains. A $15 monthly subscription costs $180 annually, money that could be invested to generate returns instead of funding services that provide minimal value relative to their costs. Subscription services also train consumers to accept recurring payments as normal, making it easier for companies to increase prices gradually without triggering cancellation decisions. Many subscription services raise prices annually, betting that consumers won't notice or won't bother canceling over small increases. The solution is conducting quarterly subscription audits where you review every recurring charge and cancel anything you don't use actively enough to justify its cost. Treat subscription services like any other expense that must provide value proportional to what you're paying. The fourth thing to stop buying is trendy clothes and accessories that you'll rarely wear or that go out of style quickly. The fashion industry has convinced consumers that they need constantly updated wardrobes to remain socially acceptable, but this consumption pattern destroys wealth while providing minimal practical value. Most people's closets are full of clothes they bought impulsively and wore only a few times before moving on to newer styles or losing interest. This represents hundreds or thousands of dollars in wasted money that could have been invested in appreciating assets instead of depreciating fashion items. The opportunity cost of fashion spending becomes enormous over time when you calculate what that money could earn if invested instead of spent on clothes that lose value immediately. Someone who spends $2,000 annually on unnecessary clothing could build substantial investment wealth over decades by redirecting that spending toward dividend-paying stocks. The psychological aspects of fashion spending are particularly destructive because they're tied to self-esteem and social status concerns that make rational financial decisions difficult. People convince themselves they need new clothes to feel confident or successful, when the real path to confidence and success involves building wealth through disciplined investing and smart financial choices. The smart alternative to fashion spending is building a high-quality, basic wardrobe of classic pieces that last for years and never go out of style. Buy fewer, better items that provide excellent cost per wear rather than constantly updating your wardrobe with trendy pieces that quickly become unwearable. The fifth thing to stop buying immediately is expensive coffee, meals, and convenience foods that cost dramatically more than preparing equivalent items at home. The food service industry profits enormously from convincing busy people that paying premium prices for convenience is normal and acceptable, but these daily purchases compound into massive wealth destruction over time. A $5 coffee purchase daily costs over $1,800 annually. That same money invested at 8% returns would grow to over $50,000 over 20 years. Most people buy expensive coffee without calculating these opportunity costs or considering how easily they could make equivalent coffee at home for a fraction of the cost. Restaurant meals, delivery services, and convenience foods follow the same pattern of charging premium prices for items that cost much less to prepare at home. The convenience premium often ranges from 200 to 500% above the cost of ingredients, representing massive wealth transfer from consumers to food service companies. The time savings argument for expensive convenience foods usually doesn't hold up under analysis. Most expensive convenience options don't actually save significant time compared to simple home preparation, but they cost dramatically more while often providing inferior nutrition and satisfaction. The smart approach is learning basic cooking skills and meal planning that allow you to prepare high-quality food at home while occasionally splurging on restaurant meals as genuine treats rather than regular expenses. The money saved on daily food expenses can fund substantial investment portfolios over time. The sixth thing to stop buying is technology gadgets and electronics that you don't need or that replace functional items unnecessarily. The technology industry deliberately creates artificial obsolescence and social pressure to upgrade devices frequently, but most technology purchases provide minimal incremental value while destroying wealth through constant upgrading cycles. Smartphones are the worst example because companies release new models annually with marginal improvements while convincing consumers they need the latest features to remain current. Most people replace phones that work perfectly well simply because newer models are available, spending hundreds or thousands of dollars unnecessarily. The same pattern applies to computers, tablets, gaming systems, and other electronics that companies want you to replace every few years. The performance improvements are often minimal for typical users, but the marketing creates artificial demand for upgrades that don't provide proportional value improvements. The opportunity cost of technology spending is particularly high because these devices depreciate rapidly while offering no investment returns. Money spent on unnecessary technology upgrades could generate substantial wealth through investment in appreciating assets instead of depreciating gadgets. The smart approach is using technology devices until they actually stop functioning rather than upgrading based on marketing cycles or social pressure. Most technology devices provide years of useful service beyond when companies want you to replace them. The seventh thing to stop buying is expensive insurance products that combine insurance with investing, such as whole life insurance, universal life insurance, and annuities. These products are heavily marketed by insurance salespeople because they generate enormous profits for insurance companies while providing poor value for consumers. Whole life insurance typically provides investment returns of 2 to 4% annually while charging fees and commissions that often exceed the returns. The insurance component is expensive compared to term life insurance, while the investment component underperforms basic stock market investments by substantial margins. Universal life and variable annuities are even worse because they add complexity that makes it nearly impossible to understand the true costs and returns. These products often include multiple layers of fees, including mortality charges, administrative costs, management fees, and surrender charges that devastate returns. The opportunity cost of insurance investments is massive because money tied up in these poor-performing products could earn much higher returns through simple index fund investing. The combination of low returns and high fees makes insurance investments among the worst financial decisions consumers can make. The smart alternative is buying term life insurance for protection needs and investing the difference in low-cost index funds that provide much higher returns with lower fees and better liquidity. Separating insurance from investing benefits consumers while reducing profits for insurance companies that prefer to bundle these functions. The eighth thing to stop buying is extended warranties and protection plans for consumer goods that rarely break and cost more to insure than to replace. Retailers push extended warranties because they're extremely profitable, but they're almost always bad deals for consumers who pay more in warranty costs than they save on repairs. Most consumer electronics and appliances are reliable enough that the probability of expensive repairs is much lower than the cost of extended warranty coverage. When items do break, the repair costs are often comparable to what you would pay for extended warranty coverage that might never be used. Extended warranties also come with restrictions, deductibles, and claim processes that make them less valuable than they appear. Many warranty claims are denied for technical reasons, leaving consumers paying for both warranty coverage and repair costs. The smart approach is self-insuring by setting aside the money you would spend on extended warranties in an emergency repair fund. This money remains available for any unexpected expenses while earning investment returns rather than enriching warranty companies. Now let me show you what to buy instead of these wealth-destroying purchases, because eliminating bad spending is only half the wealth-building equation. The other half is redirecting the money you save toward purchases and investments that actually build wealth over time. Instead of new cars, buy reliable used vehicles and invest the difference in dividend-paying stocks that generate growing income over time. Instead of credit card purchases, save cash for items you actually need and invest surplus funds in appreciating assets. Instead of subscription services you rarely use, invest that recurring spending in automatic investment programs that build wealth systematically. Instead of trendy clothes, build a basic wardrobe and redirect fashion spending toward real estate investment trusts that provide inflation protection. Instead of expensive convenience foods, develop cooking skills that save money while investing the difference in low-cost index funds. Instead of unnecessary technology upgrades, use devices longer while investing upgrade money in businesses that actually generate returns. Instead of expensive insurance products, buy term insurance and invest the premium difference in assets that compound at market rates. Instead of extended warranties, self-insure while earning returns on money that would have gone to warranty companies. The key principle is redirecting spending from consumption that provides temporary satisfaction to investments that build permanent wealth. Every dollar spent on wealth-destroying purchases is a dollar that can't compound in your favor over decades of wealth building. Now let me give you the exact implementation plan for eliminating these wealth-destroying purchases from your life while redirecting that money toward genuine wealth-building opportunities. Because knowing what to stop buying is worthless unless you can systematically change your spending patterns and redirect the savings toward assets that compound in your favor. The first step is conducting a complete spending audit to quantify exactly how much money you're currently wasting on these wealth-destroying categories. Track every purchase for 1 month across all payment methods, including cash, credit cards, debit cards, and automatic charges. Most people are shocked to discover how much they're spending on items that provide minimal value. Calculate your annual spending in each problematic category. Add up car payments and depreciation, credit card interest, subscription services, unnecessary clothing, convenience foods, technology upgrades, insurance investments, and extended warranties. For most people, these categories represent 20 to 40% of their total spending, money that could fund substantial investment portfolios. The second step is prioritizing elimination based on the size and ease of changing each spending category. Start with subscriptions and extended warranties because these can be canceled immediately without lifestyle changes. Move to convenience foods and technology upgrades that require behavior changes but don't affect major life decisions. Car purchases and insurance products require more planning because they involve larger financial commitments and longer time horizons. But even these categories can be addressed systematically by making different choices when current contracts expire or vehicles need replacement. For subscriptions, cancel everything immediately except services you use multiple times per week. Set calendar reminders to review remaining subscriptions quarterly and cancel anything that doesn't provide value proportional to its cost. Treat subscription services like gym memberships that must be justified by actual usage. For convenience foods, start by preparing coffee and basic meals at home while gradually building cooking skills that make home preparation more convenient and enjoyable than expensive alternatives. The money saved should go directly into automatic investment accounts before you can spend it on other consumption. For technology purchases, establish firm criteria for upgrades such as device failure or specific functionality needs, rather than upgrading based on marketing cycles or social pressure. When you do need technology purchases, buy high-quality items that will last longer, rather than constantly upgrading cheaper alternatives. The third step is automating wealth building with the money you're no longer wasting on consumption. Set up automatic investment transfers that redirect your savings toward dividend-paying stocks, real estate investment trusts, and broad market index funds that build wealth systematically over time. The automation is crucial because it prevents lifestyle inflation from consuming your savings. When you eliminate a $200 monthly car payment, automatically invest that money rather than allowing your spending to expand in other categories. Treat investment contributions with the same priority you gave to the payments you eliminated. Start with simple, low-cost investment options that don't require ongoing management or expertise. Broad market ETFs and dividend-focused funds provide excellent wealth-building potential while eliminating the complexity that causes many people to avoid investing altogether. The psychological aspects of changing spending patterns require understanding that these purchases often fulfill emotional needs rather than practical ones. Shopping provides temporary satisfaction, status purchases provide social validation, and convenience purchases provide time savings that may be more perceived than real. Address these emotional needs through alternatives that don't destroy wealth. Social connections, personal achievements, and meaningful activities provide more lasting satisfaction than consumption purchases while supporting wealth building rather than undermining it. The compound effect of eliminating wealth, destroying purchases while building investment portfolios becomes extraordinary over time. Someone who redirects $3,000 annually from bad purchases to good investments could build over $500,000 in additional wealth over 20 years through this single change. But the biggest benefits come from changing your fundamental relationship with money from consumption-focused to investment-focused. Wealthy people evaluate purchases based on opportunity cost and long-term impact rather than immediate gratification or social pressure. The most important mindset shift is understanding that every purchase decision is an investment decision. Money spent on consumption is money that can't compound in investment accounts. Money spent on appreciating assets becomes wealth that generates additional income and appreciation over time. Here's your immediate action plan for implementing these changes. This week, complete your spending audit and cancel unnecessary subscriptions. Next week, set up automatic investment transfers that redirect subscription savings toward wealth building. Within 30 days, implement changes to food spending and technology purchasing patterns. Within 6 months, address larger spending categories like car purchases and insurance products by making different choices when current commitments expire. Within 1 year, measure the total amount you've redirected from wealth-destroying purchases to wealth-building investments. Track your progress by calculating how much money you're no longer wasting and how much you're now investing instead. The combination of eliminating wealth destruction and implementing wealth creation accelerates your progress toward financial independence dramatically. The key insight is that building wealth isn't primarily about earning more money. It's about making better decisions with the money you already have. The purchasing decisions you make today determine whether you build wealth or remain trapped in consumption cycles that prevent financial independence. But implementation requires discipline to resist marketing pressures and social expectations that encourage wealth-destroying consumption. Companies spend billions of dollars convincing you to make purchases that benefit them while harming your financial future. If this analysis has opened your eyes to how much money you might be wasting on purchases that prevent wealth building, take immediate action to conduct your spending audit and begin eliminating the worst categories. Every day you delay costs you potential investment returns that compound over time. Subscribe to this channel for ongoing strategies about building wealth through intelligent spending decisions rather than just earning more money. Share this video with anyone who needs to understand how their purchasing decisions affect their long-term financial success. Leave a comment below and tell me which of these spending categories has been costing you the most money and what steps you're taking to eliminate it. The community of people who understand these principles needs to support each other against marketing messages designed to keep us consuming instead of building wealth. Remember, the difference between wealthy people and everyone else isn't primarily income. It's spending patterns and investment discipline. Wealthy people avoid wealth-destroying purchases while systematically building investment portfolios. You can implement the same strategies regardless of your current income level if you're willing to make different choices than the average consumer.